Alrighty guys, so these are the famed lion head meatballs from Dim Sum, and the cool thing about them is that they are actually flavored with tangerine peel, so it's uber aromatic, it's very soft, it's super delicious, and I can't wait to show you guys the recipe. Alrighty guys, so the recipe that I have makes 6 pretty good sized meatballs. I have a half a cup of wheat gluten mixed with 2 tablespoons of chickpea flour to start off with, and then this is a 1/4 cup of potato starch. Those that have watched my shumai recipe, this is going to be somewhat similar. It's a little bit different, but these are the dried tangerine peels, and you usually find them in kind of more of the herbal part of the Asian grocery store. If you guys can't find this, feel free to just use fresh tangerine or fresh orange peel. That will work really well as well. So I just grounded a little bit of that, and I'm going to put about 1 teaspoon into it, and it's just going to make the meatballs super aromatic and kind of different from, you know, your normal run-of-the-mill meatballs. So a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder go in, and then here are the rest of the flavoring ingredients. So these are vegan pork and vegan beef flavor powders that I found at the grocery store. If you guys can't find that, simply substitute for a bouillon cube. And then what I wanted to show here is that there is a fair amount of sodium in these mixes. So if your bouillon cube has more or less compared to that, then you know you have to adjust for your salt content as well. So afterwards, I'm just adding in a pinch of white pepper, and that's just really for good flavor. And then this is actually beetroot powder, so it's just pulverized dried beets. And what I like about this is instead of sugar, which you can also add to it, it also adds a nice red color, so it's kind of like makes it a little bit more meaty looking. So a half a teaspoon of the beetroot powder goes in. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing everything together and making sure that everything is homogenized before I add any more like ingredients or like liquid ingredients. So you want to add in about 4 water chestnuts and then 2 tablespoons of parsley. I only had scallions at the time, so sorry about that. And you probably want to chop up the water chestnuts more finely than I did with mine, because what I found was, you know, the chunkier the water chestnuts were, the more vegetal this guy started to taste. So if you want it to taste a little bit more meaty, then feel free to do that. So a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil goes in, and that's really going to disrupt the gluten formation so that you're not going to end up with like one hard piece of like seitan meatball. And then a little bit more than a 1/4 cup of water goes in, and the water is also really important to keep the meatballs nice and moist. But you can see that I'm mixing this mixture ever so gently because I do not want to overwork the gluten. So this is the whole thing about having, you know, softer types of meatballs or softer types of meats when you are working with wheat gluten. The more you work with it, the more rubbery and the more hard it's going to get. So basically, you know, you can just lightly do this with a spatula and definitely make sure that all of the wheat gluten is combined, because the worst thing that you can have is, you know, when you bite in and have little sandy pieces of wheat gluten that have not been fully incorporated. So you can actually see how nice of a color that beetroot powder actually added, because it actually looks like real meat, which is super cool. So basically for this, I've dipped my hands into a little bit of water so that the meatballs don't stick to my hand. And you want to press them together, but just not too much. And this recipe makes 6 pretty healthy sized meatballs. So check out how they look. These meatballs are legit. I mean, really, like they look like actual real meat. So in come the steamer basket, and this is actually a soy wrapper. It's just more traditional way of steaming it, but you actually don't really need it. So just, you know, place it on carefully onto the plate. Alrighty, time for your steam bath. So into the bamboo steamer it goes, and this goes into a steamer which is already on a medium-high heat for about 30 minutes. And here's how they look. They look super fresh and steamy, and they look soft too, like not your run-of-the-mill seitan meatballs. Ah, so good. I wish it had kept some of the red color from the beetroot powder, but I guess that's what happens to normal meat when it cooks too. So I'm actually gonna top it over with some sweetened soy sauce, and I will put the link to that down below, but it's basically some sugar, soy sauce, and then water, and it just pairs really well with a lot of different kinds of dim sum actually. So really just topping it off with some additional scallions to bring back the green color, and really there you guys have it. Very easy to make lion's head meatball, and they're super soft, and the fact that we put in some potato starch, some chickpea flour, and oil just to kind of cut that gluten will make this guy a lot more like tender and a lot more soft. So just wanted to open one of these guys for you, and they just like very easily they kind of cut open with the chopsticks, and you can see kind of the meatier chunks and also like of the water chestnuts and the scallions dispersed throughout. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this recipe and that you will try making it. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys again next time. Bye!